What's up, everybody? I'm Dear Gamer. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're back. It's more Monster on the Rise Sunbreak, and I am making a video that was requested of me to break down all the attacking skills in the game, and essentially I'm gonna rank them in terms of what is the best one, which one should you be using, which are good, and which should you avoid. So my family, about to dive into the video. Without further ado, let's dive in. So what I did is I went ahead and equipped every single attacking skill you can possibly get. And I would say that's worthwhile in the game right now. That way we can go through every single one of them, explain what makes them good and how they're situational, and we'll go from there. So starting off, we have Agitator at the top. Agitator played a big role in Monster Hunter World Iceborne because you had a way of consistently keeping the monster aggro by jumping on it, swinging it around 3 times, and boom, it's aggroed. Agitator's activated. This time around, there's no way for us to promptly, effectively keep Agitator uptime 100%. So sometimes your usability is not that high because you only run it like 50% of the fight. So half the time in the battle, you're not getting the full damage output. So Agitator is a skill I would throw in the build after you've satisfied all of your needs. Attack boost, crit boost, weakness exploit, all those. And once you got your bases covered and you got your armor set skills you're gonna be working on, stuff like Bloodlust, Dereliction, once you got that figured out, you got a couple extra gems, I will throw it in Agitator. If not, I would not prioritize the skill at all. Resentment. So resentment is good this time around because there's a skill called Dereliction that essentially decreases your health as time goes on. So that means you're always in the state where you can utilize this attack power. So the uptime is 100% on this one, unless you heal yourself and you have no red health available left. And I would say red health meaning that, say I do one of these and my health is going down. See that red health? The second that red health happens, I'm utilizing that skill set. So that's why I feel that that one's really good for specific builds, for Dereliction, or if you're using Dragonheart, those kind of things. Those things make sense. So this one I won't necessarily use on your main builds. This, I wouldn't call this mainstream builds. This would be like more speed runs, like risky builds, because you're always losing health. You have to always keep that red. Next, attack boost. Attack boost got a major buff this time around, and the reason why is because attack boost, as you go to level 7, in the past when you got to level 4, you got affinity boost as well. This time what they did is at level 4 you get a percentage increase going forward. So if you go all the way to 10, you get a 10% attack percentage increase over your overall attack, and you get bonus 10. So attack boost is the #1 skill that you have on every single build because the uptime is just there. It's up there. It's there 100% of the time. So I would say this is the most beneficial skill set to increase your damage overall. And a lot of time these builds, I'm thinking about just raw damage and traditional raw builds. This information is universal to all weapons because they all need to get their damage up. So it's beneficial to everything else. Crit boost. Crit boost is one of the things that you have to do. Crit boost goes along with weakness exploit. So crit boost, what does it do? Increases your damage dealt by critical hits by 40%, which is pretty massive. It's a low investment skill. It's only 3 levels of it, so it's amazing. But with this skill, you want to make sure you're using weakness exploit. Even though this one's not per se a 100% damage skill, it's a support skill. It's the most important support skill in the game. So when you hit a weak spot on the monster, the damage is yellow, and when you hit the good spots, you get attacks that hit weak spots have infinity increased by 50%. So that's half your affinity battle. If your weapon has 0 affinity, you hit a weak spot, you're already at 50%. You have a 50% chance of critting. Then you stack that with some crit eye, and you up to, what is it, 50%? You get up to level 6. You get, that's 80%. You get up to level 7. That's 90% affinity. Means every single time you hit, 90% of the time, every hit has a chance of 90% chance of critting. So it's important. So once you get this figured out, and you get weakness exploit figured out, you get your crit boost figured out, then you're good on those skills. Those would be the priority. Crit boost, weakness exploit, priority. Or an attack boost, priority when it comes to building your set. So moving along. Peak performance. Peak performance was good. It's kind of sad because I feel like all the skills that were good in the base game in World are no longer like good skills in Sunbreak because there's no health regen augmentation. Sorry guys, for people that are starting the game, there's no health regen augmentation. There's blood right, but it's okay once you break the monster's part, you heal on hit, and afflicted monsters in endgame, whenever they hit you, you get afflicted symbol. When you hit them back, you start healing. So you kind of can have peak performance uptime, but it's not as reliable. So I wouldn't rank this one as high in terms of usage. I would rank this one below Agitator. At least Agitator is 50% of the time, even if you're max health. But this one is like you have to be at full health. The damage increase is good. It doubles every single level. Level 1's attack, 5 attack, then 10 attack, then 20 attack, which is good. But if you can keep it uptime 100% of the time, it was amazing. If not, then I would focus on some other skills. If you're longsword, just a bonus skill, quick sheet 3 you must have. There's no way around it. You must have quick sheet 3 because it's amazing. So now let's start getting to some of the set bonuses. So Bloodlust came out. So in Bloodlust, what it does is the effect of frenzy virus changes. Health gradually reduces, but you gain a variety of effects. Frenzy virus occurs regularly in combat. So what happens is, you see the little blue symbol of my health right now. My health naturally would be declining right now because I'm on the level. I didn't clear the frenzy, so I got that little red symbol. But essentially what happens is, if you're in a situation where you clear the frenzy, before you clear the frenzy, you get some bonuses. So I have my little cheat sheet here. So essentially the way it works is, when you're at level 1, you get a Bloodlust, you get attack boost of 10, and after you clear the frenzy, you get a affinity boost of 20, and that lasts for 60 seconds. Level 2, you get 15 attack. Level 3, you get 20 attack, and after level 2, you get 25% affinity increase on each level. You only get 90 seconds on level 3. Otherwise, it's 60 seconds on level 1 and 2. So just to reflect, attack bonus while your frenzy is going down, you got the frenzy curse on you, you get additional 20 raw. After you clear it, the 20 raw goes away and you get affinity. They did a really good job this time around, just like balancing all the skills. Everything's like mega balanced, so there's no like god tier skill set, because you can have the uptime 100% of the time. There's skills you can pair off with that, like this one, Coalescence. Essentially, after you clear the frenzy by attacking a monster, I believe it's like 20 or 50 times, 20 or 30 times, you get this activates. So while this activates, you get attack boost of 12, elemental attack of 2, status builds of 5. Sounds amazing, right? Yes, it does, except for the fact that it only lasts for 30 seconds, so it's not that great. There's almost 90 seconds before, and it's now 30 seconds in rise. So this skill went down on the totem pole as well. This skill fits in that category of agitator peak performance. If you got extra slottage, then sure, throw it in there, but I wouldn't prioritize this skill. So Bloodlust is good. It's good. It gives you good damage, it gives you affinity. I have both of my end game best builds utilize Bloodlust because of the damage output you get with it. Also too, it's not that hard to keep your health keep yourself from dying, and also you get the affinity boost when you clear the frenzy. So moving along, there's skills like Dereliction. Dereliction was very popular, but now there's been some changes to the game that kind of kills Dereliction. So Dereliction, what does it do? Kuro will drain your health, but also boost your attacks. Multiple Kuro further boosts your attacks and let you recover health when performing a switch skill. So this is where things got a little interesting in the game. So I think this was our first skill that when you switch to red skill, you get this boost. When you switch to blue scroll, you get this boost. So back to my little cheat sheet here. So attack bonus. So this one at 1 level, it's kind of weird. This skill is weird. So using red scroll increases your elemental and status attack values. Blue scroll increases your attack and stun potency. So as you go higher and higher, just like the other skills, it gets stronger and stronger. So I'm gonna say a lot of things right now, so I'm gonna need you guys to just listen up. So you get, when you use this skill, every 50 seconds, one of the Kuro bugs that's on me right now spawns. You need to have health in order for it to spawn every 50 seconds. So that means it takes about, what is it, 2 minutes and 30 seconds, 2 minutes for everything to spawn up and you get your full bonus. When you swap skills, you lose your bonus and you get the other bonus on the other scroll. So if you're on a blue scroll and you have level 1 level of it, you get 15 attack raw attack. When you have 2 of the bugs, you get 20 raw. When you have 3 of the bugs, after everything spawned, you get 25% raw. Good damage. At level 2, you get 20 at 1, 25 at 2, and 30 raw at 3. Level 3, you get 25 at 1. I have 3 levels of it. 30 damage raw at 2 bugs, and at level 3 with 3 bugs you get 35 damage. With this skill, I'll just save you guys the drama. Just 1 level of this skill is all you need, because at 1 level you get 25 attack raw by having 3 bugs available to you, but you only get 15 by having 1. On the other side, you get elemental skill values, like elemental value increases as well, and you can find out online, but essentially we're just focused on like raw skills right now. So if you are using this skill, you will stay in blue scroll. You'll switch all your switch skills to your primary attacking ones to your blue scroll, and you'll put your support ones on the red scroll. So in this situation for us, having in title update 5, Harvest Moon got buffed. Harvest Moon got buffed, meaning that you can now go out of Harvest Moon. Hold on, you can go out of Harvest Moon. You can do it. You want to put Harvest Moon, then you want to switch to your other scroll so you can do your Hellbreaker, whatever you got in there. Your Hellbreaker. Hold on, to get the Hellbreaker. You can do your Hellbreaker. At the same time, you can move out there, hit this, and you have your Harvest Moon set up. Also, you can throw barrels down, etc. The problem with Dereliction is, if you notice, when I swapped my skills, I went back to just 1 bug. So if I'm keeping myself in this situation frequently and I'm swapping, I can't take advantage of some skills like Heaven Sent, because I'm not going to want to swap as much because I'm losing damage, and I got to wait 2.5 minutes for my Dereliction to get topped off again. So that's where it's like, at 1 level I'm only getting 15 raw right now, and I'm losing 10 raw because I have to wait 2 minutes. So that's the situation where, because with Heaven Sent, I'm swapping scrolls every 30 seconds so I can get my sharpness back, because that's one of the best skills in the game right now for support, and 30 seconds is not long enough for me to let my bugs come out. So that's where Dereliction has its downside, because it's amazing, it's strong, but if you're gonna play only 1 scroll only, maybe other weapons gonna benefit better from it, because longsword, like meta longsword playstyle right now wouldn't, because you want to be swapping scrolls to use Harvest Moon, Serene Pulse, and all the other skills at your disposal. And that was kind of like my biggest gripe with Capcom. It's like, wait, why give us switch skills? Encourage us the whole game to swap just to lock us in one side end game. It's like, it's incredibly idiotic, I believe. So that's the only reason I don't necessarily use Dereliction, because there's the limitations of how to use it in my build. Moving along, we have Mantle Hellfire. Mantle Hellfire, I would say, is literally probably the best skill in the game, because it's the most usable with most skills and most armors and most switch skills. So what Mantle Hellfire does is, of course, it has a con. Using the red scroll, defense is down but increases your attack. Using blue scroll, resistance is down but element is up. So I'm talking about raw attack builds, so I'm going to be focused on the red scroll. At the red scroll, at 1 level you have 15 raw but negative 50 defense. Level 2 you have 25 raw, negative 75 defense. Level 3 you have 35 raw and negative 100 defense. So there's other ways you can get defense up. You can put level 1 defense decals on that give you defense back. There's a bunch of other skills you can use to get your defense back, or you can just counter and watch out. So for me, Mantle Hellfire is a skill I utilize the most on 90% of my sets, because it has 100% uptime. All I gotta do is worry about making sure I counter enough, I force out my way out of damage, then next thing you know, I could take advantage of that 35 raw attack I'm getting by having it equipped on my set. So I would say, you guys can comment below what your thoughts are below if you have a different opinion as well, but I would say Mantle Hellfire is the #1 skill I would recommend people using when it comes to building their sets. Mantle Hellfire stacks with Bloodlust. Mantle Hellfire stacks with Dragonheart. Mantle Hellfire stacks with all the skill. It just doesn't work with Dereliction because they're on the opposite scroll. Mantle Hellfire, you get your raw on the red. Dereliction, you get your raw on the blue. So you're always in a situation where you're not going to utilize them. And I could utilize this skill, Mantle Hellfire, with Heaven Sent, and just keep on swapping myself over to get my health back and get my sharpness back as well. Foray, man. Honestly, this time around, elemental weapons got stupid buffed. Stupid. It's almost like they made a meta like status weapon. So example, Foray increases attack power and affinity when attacking a large monster affected by poison, paralysis, or elemental blight. What? So while I have poison on the monster, and you can tell I got poison, I got the Rathian Blade. That's why Rathian Blade is like almost the best weapon in the game right now, because it's raw, it's sharpness, affinity it gives you. But just say this fool had poison on him, right? Essentially, when the poison starts ticking in, I get additional damage bonus of just 10 raw, and I get affinity upgrade by doing that. So now that he's poisoned like this, boom, I'm doing even more damage, and I'm also proccing as well. So that's why this poison or status weapons are just disgusting. Foray is a really good skill. At level 1 you get 10 power, at level 2 you get 10 power and 10 affinity, at level 3 you get 15 attack power and you get 20 affinity. So it's just gross. This one's a little weird, chain crit. This one works on fast weapons, like when you're doing longsword, special sheet playstyle, Helmbreaker, or dual blades, or some bow weapons. Essentially what happens is upon every single hit you get more attack. It's like every 5 hits you get like 3 or I think 3 attack, raw attack, and this keeps on stacking up. So it's a pretty good skill. It was called chain, now it's called burst, but this is an extra skill I will put before Agitator and before from what is it, flawless, and before Coalescence. I'll put this one first. But if you're using a status weapon, Foray is going to be your number 1. If you're not, then it has no value to you. Last but not least, Power Mantle is not necessarily an attacking skill, but what happens is as you attack the monster, you get a bunch of hits, and as soon you'll see I have this blue aura on me. When that blue aura procs up, it does raw static damage, and the static damage is amazing. Boom, hold on. And there it is. So that 619 damage was my just random damage I got for just having that skill, 1 level of it. Again, you only need 1 level of that skill. You don't need any more because it does good damage. When you have 2 levels, it decreases the hits that it takes. I'm sure if you have a lot of slots available to you in your build, then you can put it in there. But if not, like, I wouldn't worry about it and just keep 1 level of it and put another skill that'll give you more bang for your buck in your set. Last but not least, I would say Dragonheart is a skill that is good, but it's just too expensive to use. It's if you want to equip it, you need to have 5 levels of it, because at level 5 you contract Dragon Blight. You have to keep your health below 80%, which is not effective against afflicted monsters because you heal, so you always be past that point. But then if you manage to keep your health below 80%, what happens is Session Elemental resistance to 50, and you gain additional 10% of attack power, which is amazing. But the problem is this one doesn't stack well. I guess you can use this one with Dereliction. You can just one with Mantle Hellfire, but for the reason we spoke of earlier, Mantle Hellfire won't work. I mean, Dereliction won't work with a new playstyle of a longsword post. But for you guys right now in T-Point and PlayStation Xbox, you're not swapping scrolls as much, so Dereliction will work. But for 5.0, Mantle Hellfire would work better with Dragonheart, but it's only on specific monsters, so it gets complicated. If you're fighting at the point, if you're at the end game where you're doing resin afflicted monsters, or anomaly investigation resin monsters where they don't heal you when you attack them, then that makes sense. But if not, it doesn't. So like that's where it's like we're in a weird spot when it comes to like end game builds. There's no like opium like mega meta build, because there's always like a lot of give and take with every single skill that is announced in the game. They did a really good job of keeping every skill at 0, and I mean, when I say 0, I mean balance, because there isn't any that's like, oh my god, you must have except attack boost. This gives you raw attack. And Foray is amazing, but guess what? You have to have the poison on them. That's why for people that are their ears perked up when I said Foray, you might want to take advantage of Chameleon's Blessing as well, because at level 3 it also extends the duration of your poison effect on monsters. So that means you're getting more time for Foray to proc to get that additional 20 raw damage and that 20 affinity as well. So a lot of information was shared in this video. I kind of went through like all my ins and outs of the skills I'm using, the skills that worth your while, and like why you would take advantage of them and why not. Hope this was beneficial for you guys to learn how to build your character. Not saying there's a specific way, cookie cutter way to build your character. You can play the game the way you want, but in case you just want a little bit more insight on the game, end game, all that stuff works, I wanted to provide a video. But if you guys have other videos you want me to make, comment down below. I'm always reading my comments to see like what you guys think about stuff. If you're new, you made it all the way to the end, give the video a thumbs up, subscribe. You guys are amazing. Appreciate the support. My family, stay smooth. Until next time, dear gamers, signing out.